My cheating ex texted, "We just want you there so everyone can move on." I replied, "I won't be attending." I didn't argue, didn't explain. That week, people started calling me asking what I'd sent instead. I'm 36, single for 8 months now, and I just learned that some people will rewrite history until you're the villain, unless you keep the receipts. My ex-fiancé and I were together for 5 years, engaged for the last one. The relationship ended when I came home early from a work trip and found her in our bed with my former best friend. Classic story. Nothing original about the betrayal, just the usual destruction of trust and future. I moved out that night, stayed with my brother for a month while I found my own place. The breakup was messy but quick. She kept the apartment we'd shared since her name was on the lease. I took my stuff and whatever dignity I had left. We had mutual friends, a whole social circle that suddenly became complicated. Most people chose sides. Some chose hers, some chose mine. Most just awkwardly tried to stay neutral. That was 8 months ago. I'd moved on as much as you can. Started therapy, focused on work, began dating again, nothing serious, but enough to prove to myself I could still function as a human being capable of trust. Then last week, I got a text from her, first direct contact since the breakup. "Hey, I know this is weird, but my sister's getting married next month. You were invited before everything happened. She still wants you there. We all think it would be good for closure. We just want you there so everyone can move on." I stared at that message for a solid 10 minutes, tried to process the audacity. Her sister and I had been close. That part was true. We'd genuinely gotten along, and I'd been invited to the wedding back when my ex and I were still together. But that was before everything imploded. Before I knew my ex had been cheating for 6 months. Before I knew my best friend was a liar. Before my life got turned inside out. I typed back, "I won't be attending." She responded immediately, "Don't be like that. It's been months. We've all moved on. This isn't about us. It's about my sister's day." Me. "I'm not being like anything. I'm declining an invitation. That's allowed." Her. "You're making this difficult." Me. "I'm making this nothing. I'm simply not going. Enjoy the wedding." Her. "Everyone's going to ask where you are. It's going to be awkward." Me. "Tell them I declined. That's the truth." Her. "You're being petty." I didn't respond to that. Just put my phone down and went back to what I was doing, which was eating dinner and watching something mindless on TV. But the text stuck with me, the entitlement of it, the assumption that I owed them closure, that my presence at a wedding, where I'd have to watch her, watch him, watch them together probably, was somehow my responsibility for everyone else's comfort. That night, I couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about it. About how the narrative had probably shifted in the past 8 months. About how stories get told and retold until the truth becomes flexible. I got up around 2 a.m. and opened my laptop. Started going through old files. I'm methodical about backups and documents. Probably to a fault, but it paid off that night. I found what I was looking for. Screenshots. Lots of them. From the week before I caught them. Messages between my ex and my former best friend that I'd discovered on a shared cloud account we'd set up years ago for photos. Messages I'd saved because my therapist said documentation helps with processing betrayal. Messages where they talked about me, about how clueless I was, how easy it was to hide, how they felt bad sometimes, but not bad enough to stop. I also found the email thread with her sister from 8 months ago, right after everything happened, where her sister had called me crying, apologizing for what happened, saying she'd always think of me as family, that she was furious with her sister for destroying something good. I created a simple PDF. No commentary. No explanation. Just screenshots arranged chronologically. The messages. The email from her sister. A few receipts showing I'd paid for couples therapy sessions my ex had suggested 2 months before I caught them. Therapy she'd insisted would make us stronger while she was actively cheating. Last page was a single sentence. "I was invited to attend a wedding to provide closure for people who betrayed me. I'm declining. I hope you understand why." I didn't send it to anyone, just saved it. went back to bed. The next morning, I woke up feeling oddly calm. The PDF sat on my laptop like a loaded gun. I didn't want to use it, but knowing it existed gave me a strange sense of control. For 8 months, I'd felt powerless, betrayed, and blindsided. Now I had something concrete, truth, documented and time-stamped. I made coffee and tried to focus on work emails, but my mind kept drifting back to the situation. Part of me wondered if I was being paranoid, if creating that document was excessive. But another part, the part that had been lied to for months, knew better. Update 1. The next day, Wednesday, my ex texted again. "You need to be there," my sister specifically asked. I didn't respond immediately. Went to work, had meetings, lived my life. Around lunch, I looked at the message again and decided on a different approach. Me. "Did your sister ask? Or did you volunteer that having me there would make things less awkward for you?" Her. "What's that supposed to mean?" Me. "It means I don't believe your sister wants me there. I believe you want me there so you don't have to explain my absence." Her. "You're being paranoid." Me. "Forward me the message where she asks for me specifically." No response for 3 hours. Then, her. "She doesn't want to text you directly. That's why she asked me to reach out." Me. "Convenient." Her. "Why are you being difficult about this?" Me. "I'm not being difficult. I'm being clear. I'm not attending. Stop asking." Her. "People are going to think you're not over it." Me. "I don't care what people think." Her. "Well, I do. And so does my sister. You coming would help." Me. "Help who? Help you look less guilty? Help him feel less awkward? Help everyone pretend the last 8 months didn't happen?" Her. "I see you're still bitter." Me. "I see you're still rewriting history. I'm not bitter. I'm just done being accommodating." She didn't respond after that. I thought maybe that was the end of it. I was wrong. That evening, I got a notification on social media. She'd posted something vague about moving forward and people who can't let go of the past. The comments were full of supportive messages from mutual friends, people who had no idea what actually happened, people who'd been told whatever version of events made her look sympathetic. I didn't engage, didn't comment, didn't like or react, just noted it and moved on. But it confirmed something I'd suspected. She was building a narrative, painting me as the bitter ex who couldn't move on, setting up her version of events so that when I didn't show up to the wedding, everyone would already know whose fault it was. Update 2. Thursday evening, I got a call from a mutual friend, someone who'd stayed neutral during the breakup, maintaining friendships with both of us. "Hey, are you really not going to the wedding?" "That's correct." "She's saying you're being vindictive." "I'm being absent." "There's a difference." "She says you're making it about you instead of about her sister." "I'm making it about nothing. I declined an invitation. That's normal." People are asking why. People can ask her why she thought inviting me was a good idea. Fair point, but I'm getting pulled into this and I don't want to be. Then don't be. Tell anyone who asks that I declined for personal reasons. That's true and complete. She's going to keep pushing. Let her. I'm done engaging. We talked for a few more minutes, then hung up. But the call bothered me. The fact that my declining an invitation was becoming a social issue. The fact that she was framing my absence as aggression instead of self-preservation. I opened the PDF I'd created, looked at it again, decided to refine it, added a few more screenshots, tightened up the timeline, made it crystal clear what had happened and when. Still didn't send it. But I had it ready. The next day, I got another text from her. "I don't understand why you're being so difficult about this. It's just one day, a few hours. Then you never have to see me again if you don't want to." I almost laughed at that. Just one day, a few hours. Like it was nothing. Like standing in a room with the two people who destroyed my life, watching everyone act like everything was fine, was a small ask. Me. "I've already given you my answer. Stop asking." Her, "You're going to regret this when people remember you as the guy who couldn't get over a breakup." Me, "And you'll be remembered as the woman who cheated on her fiancé and then demanded he show up to smile and pretend. I'll take my odds." She stopped texting after that. Update 3. Friday afternoon, my phone rang. Her sister. I almost didn't answer, but decided to hear her out. Hey. Hey. I'm sorry she dragged you into this. So you didn't ask her to invite me? No. I mean, I thought about it back when we first sent invitations, but after everything that happened, I assumed you wouldn't want to come. I told her that. She insisted it would be fine, that enough time had passed. It hasn't. I know, and I'm sorry. You don't have to come. I never expected you to. Thank you for saying that. She's making this into a thing, isn't she? A bit. She does that. Makes everything about her narrative. I love my sister, but she's been impossible about this wedding. Everything has to be perfect. Everyone has to play their part. I'm not playing any part. Good, don't. I'll handle her. I appreciate that. For what it's worth, I miss you. You were good for her. Better than she deserved, probably. That's kind of you to say. It's true. Anyway, don't stress about this. Come or don't come, I won't be offended either way. We hung up. I felt better after that call. Vindicated. Confirmed that my instinct was right. This was about my ex wanting to control the narrative, not about anyone actually wanting me there. That evening, my ex texted again. My sister told me you talked. You're really not coming? Correct. You're making this harder than it needs to be. I'm making this nothing. You're the one making it hard. Everyone's going to know you're avoiding me. Everyone's going to know I declined an invitation, that's it. They're going to ask why. Then tell them the truth, that you cheated, we broke up, and I don't want to attend your sister's wedding. Simple. You're such an asshole. I'm an asshole for not attending a wedding? That's a new definition. You're an asshole for holding this over us. I'm not holding anything over anyone. I'm just not going. You're the one who won't let it go. She didn't respond. I thought maybe, finally, this was done. I went about my weekend, hit the gym Saturday morning, meal prepped for the week, caught up on some reading. Normal stuff. Tried not to think about the wedding or the drama or any of it. But Saturday night, I got a message from another mutual friend. Hey, just wanted to give you a heads up. She's been telling people you're the reason she cheated, that you were emotionally distant and she felt neglected, thought you should know what's being said. I read that message 3 times, felt my blood pressure rise. Not because I was surprised. People who cheat always rewrite the relationship to justify their actions, but because it confirmed she'd been doing exactly what I suspected, controlling the narrative, making herself the victim. I opened my laptop, looked at the PDF one more time, added one more document, text messages from the month before I caught them, where she'd told me how much she loved me, how excited she was about our wedding plans, how I was her best friend and partner. The narrative she was selling didn't match the evidence, and I was tired of letting lies win. Update 4 Saturday morning, I woke up to 17 text messages and 5 missed calls, not from my ex, from other people, mutual friends, people I hadn't talked to in months. The messages were variations of the same question. Is this real? I had no idea what they were talking about until I scrolled through and found one with a screenshot attached. A group chat I wasn't part of, where my ex had posted, "He's sending people fake screenshots to make me look bad. Please don't believe anything he sends you. He's trying to sabotage my sister's wedding." I sat up in bed. Fake screenshots? I hadn't sent anyone anything. I called one of the people who'd texted me. "What's going on?" "She's saying you're spreading lies about her, that you're creating fake messages to turn people against her." "I haven't sent anyone anything." "You haven't?" "No. I declined a wedding invitation. That's it. I haven't contacted anyone, haven't sent anything, haven't said anything about her." Then why is she saying this? Probably because she knows I have screenshots and she's getting ahead of it. You have screenshots? Of her cheating. Of the messages between her and him. I saved them months ago, but I haven't sent them to anyone. Are you going to? I wasn't planning to, but now I'm reconsidering. If they're real, you should. She's telling everyone you're lying. We hung up. I looked at the PDF on my laptop, made one final decision. I sent it to 5 people. Not everyone. Just 5 people I knew would be at the wedding. 5 people who were close to her, who'd believed her version of events, who'd probably been told I was the problem. The PDF included everything. The cheating messages. Her sister's supportive email from 8 months ago. The receipts from therapy I'd paid for while she was actively betraying me. The loving texts from a month before I caught them. And that final sentence explaining why I wouldn't attend. I didn't add commentary, didn't editorialize, just sent it with a short message. I was accused of sending fake screenshots. These are the real ones. I've kept them private for 8 months. I'm sharing now only because my character is being attacked. Then I turned off my phone and went for a long walk. When I came back 2 hours later, I turned my phone back on. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Messages flooded in. Some from people thanking me for finally showing the truth. Some from people apologizing for believing her version. Some from people who were shocked at what they'd read. One message stood out. From a guy who'd been friends with both of us, but had slowly drifted toward her side after the breakup. I owe you an apology. She told us you were controlling and emotionally abusive. That she cheated because she felt trapped. These messages show that was complete bullshit. I'm sorry I believed her. I responded, I appreciate that. I never wanted to air this publicly, but I'm not going to let her destroy my reputation to protect hers. Update 5. When I turned my phone back on Sunday morning, the chaos had fully erupted. Over 50 messages, dozens of missed calls, people taking sides, people apologizing, people asking for more information. Her sister called me. Thank you. For what? For finally showing people the truth. I knew she was lying about some things, but I didn't know how bad it was. Those messages. I never wanted to share them. I know, but I'm glad you did. She's been playing victim for months, acting like you abandoned her, like you were the problem. What's happening now? Family drama. Our parents saw the screenshots. They're furious. They were pressuring me to invite you to keep the peace. Now they understand why that was insane. I'm sorry it's affecting your wedding. It's not. She's affecting my wedding. You're just finally defending yourself. We talked for a bit longer, then hung up. I scrolled through messages. Most were supportive. A few were from people saying they'd believed her version of events and felt foolish now. Several were from people thanking me for being honest. One was from my former best friend. You didn't have to do this, I responded. You didn't have to sleep with my fiancé. Yet here we are. He didn't reply. My ex called me 17 times Sunday. I didn't answer. She texted, "You're a vindictive piece of shit. You ruined my sister's wedding. Everyone hates you now. You couldn't just let this go." I responded to none of them. There was nothing to say. I'd defended myself with facts. If that ruined anything, the ruin was built on lies to begin with. By Sunday evening, the group chat she'd posted in had apparently exploded. People who'd seen my screenshots were confronting her, asking why she'd lied, asking why she'd accused me of faking evidence when the evidence was clearly real. I didn't participate in any of it. Didn't add fuel to the fire. Just let the truth speak for itself. Monday morning, I got a call from her father. We'd always gotten along well. He'd been planning to walk both his daughters down the aisle when my ex and I got married. I owe you an apology. You don't. I do. We believed her version of events because she's our daughter, and we wanted to believe her. We pushed for you to be at the wedding because we thought you were being stubborn. We didn't understand the depth of what she did to you, those messages, the way they talked about you. I'm ashamed we didn't question her more. You're not responsible for her choices. No, but we enabled her narrative. We made you feel like the bad guy when you were the one who was wronged. That's on us. I appreciate you saying that. For what it's worth, you're welcome at the wedding if you change your mind. But I completely understand if you don't want to be there. I won't be there, but thank you for the offer. We talked a bit more, then hung up. His apology meant something, not because I needed it, but because it confirmed what I'd known all along. The truth matters, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it disrupts carefully constructed narratives. Final update. The wedding was 2 weeks ago. I didn't attend, obviously. Heard from people who did that it was tense. My ex brought my former best friend as her date, which apparently made several family members uncomfortable. Her sister barely spoke to her the whole day. Multiple people told me afterward that there were whispered conversations throughout the reception, people discussing the screenshots, people realizing they'd been lied to, people apologizing to each other for believing the wrong person. I've gotten a few messages since from people apologizing for believing her narrative, for not questioning why the breakup was my fault when she was the one who cheated, for assuming I was bitter instead of hurt. One message that meant a lot came from a guy I'd considered a close friend before the breakup. He'd sided with her initially, stopped talking to me, made it clear he thought I was overreacting. His message said, "I was wrong. About everything. I believed her because she was convincing, and because it was easier than acknowledging my friend was capable of that level of betrayal. I'm sorry. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I needed to say it." I responded, "I appreciate that. Forgiveness takes time, but I hear you." The PDF made its way through our social circle. More people saw it than I intended, but I can't say I regret that. The truth is better than comfortable lies, even when it's messy. My ex has apparently told people I ambushed her, that I waited for the perfect moment to cause maximum damage, which is hilarious because she invited me to a wedding specifically to avoid questions about my absence, then accused me of sending fake screenshots when I hadn't sent anything at all. I didn't cause damage. I provided documentation. There's a difference. I'm back to my regular life now. Dating someone new, actually, someone who doesn't have a history with me, doesn't know my ex, doesn't carry any baggage from that situation. It's refreshing. The person I'm seeing asked about the wedding drama after hearing about it through mutual connections. I showed her the PDF. She read it, looked at me, and said, "You're a lot calmer about this than I would be. Took 8 months and a lot of therapy to get here. Was it worth it? Sending the screenshots? I didn't want to. I wanted to just decline and move on. But she kept pushing, kept creating narratives. At some point, you have to defend yourself. And now? Now people know the truth. She can't rewrite history anymore. That's worth something." I haven't heard from my ex since the wedding. Mutual friends say she's doubled down, insisting the screenshots lack context, that I'm manipulating the situation. Some people still believe her. Most don't. Her former best friend, one of the bridesmaids, reached out last week. Said she'd always had doubts about my ex's version, but didn't want to cause drama. Said seeing the actual messages confirmed what she'd suspected. Said she felt guilty for not speaking up sooner. I told her not to feel guilty. People believe their friends. That's natural. But truth has a way of surfacing eventually. The PDF wasn't revenge. Revenge would have been posting it publicly months ago. Revenge would have been sending it to her workplace or family out of spite. The PDF was self-defense. There's a difference. She created a situation where my silence would equal guilt, so I broke my silence with facts. If that makes me vindictive, so be it. But I think it makes me someone who finally stopped protecting the person who hurt me at the expense of my own reputation. The wedding happened. I wasn't there. And when people asked why, they got the truth. Not her version, not a comfortable lie, just the documented, time-stamped, irrefutable truth. Sometimes that's the best gift you can give yourself, the refusal to let someone else write your story. My therapist said something in our last session that stuck with me. You spent 8 months protecting her reputation while she destroyed yours. The moment you stopped protecting her, the truth emerged. That's not vindictive. That's just reality finally catching up. She was right. I'd kept quiet out of dignity, assuming people would eventually see through her lies. But silence isn't always noble. Sometimes silence is just surrender. And I was done surrendering. The screenshots didn't ruin her life. They just revealed who she actually is, what she actually did, how she actually treated someone who loved her. That's not my fault, that's hers, and now everyone knows it.